This is the instructor video for Safety from Poverty, Money and Wealth in a Global Age. Here's some comedy about poverty. First guy says, "We just want to give the biggest breaks to those who pay the most taxes. What could be fairer than that? Giving the most paychecks to those who do the most work? You're not from here, are you?" So what is the purpose of this module? Why are we discussing poverty? Think about this. What are the general facts that you learned about poverty? When you're doing the class discussion, here's some critical thinking questions. 1. Could you elaborate further? Tell me more about that. 2. Do we need to look at this from another perspective? What is another viewpoint regarding this question? 3. Do I have a vested interest in this problem? Do I feel strongly about a particular perspective of this issue? Be sure to watch the two videos. These are both found in the required reading. The first one is Poverty and Obesity When Healthy Food Isn't an Option. Another one is Richard Wilkinson talking about how economic equality harms societies. Poverty defined. In relative terms, people are poor when their living conditions fall radically below the community average. In absolute terms, poverty refers to insufficient or total lack of basic necessities like food, housing, safe water, health care services, and income to obtain the necessities of life. Reducing poverty. Poverty alleviation has, therefore, become the central policy objective of international development agencies such as World Bank, United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, and national governments, especially in third world or developing countries. Here's an example. Poverty in sub-Saharan Africa. Factors used to describe what leads to poverty in 47 countries. An increase in the rate of population, inflation, external debt servicing on the part of the country, lack of safe water, low economic activities, gender discrimination, ethnic and religious conflicts, and illnesses such as HIV and AIDS. South Africa's children. A UNICEF report found that 1.4 million children live in homes that rely on often dirty streams for drinking water. 1.5 million have no flushing lavatories, and 1.7 million live in shacks with no proper bedding, cooking, or washing facilities. 4 in 10 live in homes where no one is employed, and in cases of dire poverty, the figure rises to 7 in 10. How can we solve poverty? 3 recommendations for solving poverty in the U.S. include 1. Provide living wages and family-oriented labor policies. 2. Invest in a safety net that supports and promotes economic mobility. 3. Invest in community solutions run by people who know poverty firsthand. The author of the article that stated these 3 recommendations, Tiana Gaines Turner, concludes by saying Congress should not make any decisions about programs meant to help families living in poverty without people who know poverty firsthand at the decision-making table. The uses of poverty. This is one of the attachments that you're supposed to read. Dirty work gets done. Low-wage employment. Fries with that order? Domestic work gets done, not just hotels, but among the upper-income classes. Professional and business niches get created. Pawn shops, liquor stores, video poker establishments, payday loans, collection agencies, lawyers on contingency, hotels and motels with weekly and monthly rates, even the social work profession, professors who study poverty, etc. Another way to look at the uses of poverty, a population of poor helps uphold conventional norms. The poor more often get caught in criminal activity, and most studies deal with crimes committed by the poor. Moral distancing. Poor people are perceived as morally deviant, at the least irresponsible and insufficiently motivated, hence policies enforcing drug testing of welfare recipients, etc. Cultural contributions stemming from poverty include blues, jazz, country and western, even rap and hip-hop have their roots in the underclasses. More uses of poverty. The security of social location. The poor serve as reference points guaranteeing status of those who aren't poor. Helping others achieve. The poor aid in upward mobility of other groups. Dirty work, immigration, the investment class does very well on the backs of underpaid workers. A supply of charity balls. It takes tens of thousands to raise hundreds of thousands. More uses of poverty. Bearing the brunt of disruptive change. Poor people are often asked to absorb costs of change. Some examples include urban renewal, volunteer army, opportunity, yet obviously risk society, environmental racism. Who can least resist having a landfill sited in their neighborhood? And finally, recession and depression. When people lose jobs, they may take others that push the less qualified further down the socioeconomic ladder. Keeping American politics stable. The poor are less likely to register to vote, and when they do, they vote for Democrats, as more conservative religious groups vote for Republicans, yet neither group gets much besides campaign promises. Finally, if the poor are more morally deviant, there is less pressure on other groups to alleviate poverty. The poor pay out a lot in regressive tax revenue, payroll tax, sin taxes. A lottery is a tax on people who are bad at math, some people have said. Low-wage work gets done. It's not just the dirty work. Welfare reform is increasingly designed to push welfare recipients into the workforce. Poverty. Think about this question. Is poverty necessary in order to keep a balance in society? Will there ever be a society without a population of people living in poverty?